Okay, let's unpack this. We're diving deep into the UK's prime property markets today. We've got the Q4 2024 data from Savills, and our mission really is to cut through some of the noise. We want to figure out how high net worth buyers are actually reacting, after a year of political shifts and those big post-budget changes.
Yeah, and the main theme that jumps out from the sources is this persistent caution. It's really stuck around. Properties, well, they're only moving if the price is competitive. That's key.
Mm.
And what's striking immediately is this split, this big divergence between prime central London PCL and the outer prime London areas.
Right, that divergence, that's where it gets really interesting, isn't it? PCL cooling off quite a bit. Values there dropped, what, an average of minus 0.8% just in the quarter. So why PCL specifically? Is it all about the international buyers pulling back?
Largely, yes. Precisely. PCL just has a much higher concentration of international money.
Yeah.
So it makes it super sensitive to things like, well, the winding down of the non-DUMS tax regime. That's huge.
Mm.
And also that new SDLT surcharge, the stamp duty land tax for second homes. You really see the pressure points in the data. Knightsbridge, for example, down 2%. South Kensington dropped 1.6%. Belgravia eased off by 1.5%.
Wow, those are some established, really core wealth hubs taking quite a hit. And looking back historically, are we seeing price levels we haven't seen for a while then?
Oh, absolutely. PCL prices are now, get this, down 20.7% compared to their peak back in 2014.
Yeah.
It's kind of ironic, historically speaking. For certain buyers, maybe cash buyers looking long-term, that kind of drop might actually look like, well, good value.
Interesting perspective. Good value in PCL, who'd have thought? So, okay, while the international investor is maybe hitting pause, the domestic buyer seems to be stepping up elsewhere. Let's contrast that PCL chill with the bit of warmth we're seeing in outer London markets. These areas, more debt-reliant, more domestic-focused, they actually grew a little, plus 0.3%.
That's right, marginal growth. And that strength is really coming from needs-based domestic buyers, people who need to move. They're the ones who've benefited from mortgage rates being relatively stable and, the expectation of more base rate cuts coming in 2025. When they see a bit of stability, they tend to make their move. Look at Hackney, for instance, up 1.7%. That's significant growth. And Shoreditch, too, delivered 1.4%. They're really the strongest spots in London right now.
Okay, let's broaden the lens a bit then. Beyond London, how did the rest of the UK regions fare? Regional prices eased off a touch, down 0.2% in Q4, but overall still way up on pre-pandemic levels.
Yeah, down slightly in the quarter, minus 1% for the year, but still holding strong overall. They remain, I think it's 9.6% up on the pre-pandemic average. So resilience is the word, especially in those suburban markets near London. Northwood, for instance, managed plus 0.8% growth. And certain regions like Scotland, the Midlands, the North held up pretty well, about plus 0.8% overall in 2024. But where you really felt the sting, the meaningful impact of that increased FDLT surcharge, was the second home markets. Coastal prime property prices, they dropped 5.4% annually, minus 1.4 in the quarter alone.
That's a really clear policy impact right there, isn't it? Okay. And looking forward, the forecasts seem wildly different depending on where you look. PCL is predicted to fall another 4% in 2025, before eventually recovering, but only seeing about 9.6% growth over 5 years.
Exactly. And that's the key takeaway when you look ahead. Contrast that with the regions. Savills is forecasting regional growth of 18.2% over 5 years,
Yeah.
much stronger. It really suggests families are increasingly prioritizing that balance, price, commute, schools. And outer prime London is also expected to do much better than PCL long-term forecast at plus 14.7% over 5 years. That's fueled by that ripple effect, affluent upsizers moving outwards.
So putting it all together, what does this really tell us?
Well, it shows that fiscal policy and regulatory changes, they're not a blunt instrument hitting the whole prime market the same way. They're actively segmenting it. Policy isn't just pushing down prices in PCL. It feels like it's almost shifting where UK wealth concentrates, rewarding that domestic stability, those needs-based moves, over the high concentration international investment, at least for now.
Right. So considering this clear shift in demand, towards regional and outer suburban spots, and that real hit from the SDLT surcharge, here's something for you to think about. In the next 5 years, will the definition of prime property still be about that traditional PCL postcode, or will it become more about access to top schools and, crucially, an efficient commute? Definitely something to mull over.